We're doing a lower ball joint change on an '02 Kia Sportage. The first thing you'll want to do is break your lug nuts and jack up and support your car. Once you have your car jacked up and supported and your lug nuts removed, you can go ahead and pull off your wheel. If you have your wheel off, you can then come down. The part in question we're changing is right here, the ball joint. It has 2 bolts on top on each side and 1 bolt down here. The first thing you'll want to do is to come down and break this nut free all the way down here, and you can use a separator to break the ball joint free from the steering knuckle. After you have your cotter pin removed from your ball joint, the next thing you can do is come up and remove this bolt here and then start to drive through on this bolt to drive the ball joint through the steering knuckle. One thing worth noting is if you're having an issue getting your ball joint to come out, you can loosen it and use a jack to go up underneath of the ball joint and jack up on it a little bit. Sometimes that can also help free it. Just the weight of the body coming down on it can also work. After you have your bottom bolt removed, you can then go ahead and start to break through on your ball joint. And then you can remove your top mounting bolts here, here, and then when you come around to the other side, there's another 2 there. They're 12mm. The final thing you can do once you have your ball joint and everything loose is take off your nut if you left it on like we did, and lift up on your steering knuckle and pull your ball joint out. After you have your ball joint removed, it'll look like this. You can then proceed to install your new ball joint and slip it back under the control arm. After you have your ball joint back installed, it'll look like this. You can thread on your nut on the bottom just for the time being while you pass this piece under the control arm. The next thing you'll want to do after getting the ball joint underneath the control arm is align the ball joint with the control arm to make it more parallel. What you can do is slip a flathead screwdriver in between these 2 points to try and get it closer. Once you get movement in the ball joint, it becomes easier to move. After you have the bolts threaded through into your ball joint, the mounting bolts here, there's 2 on each side, you can torque those down to 36 foot-pounds. The final thing you'll want to do is to come down and tighten your actual ball joint nut. This bolt gets torqued to 87 foot-pounds. After you have your nut tightened down and torqued, you can then come back and reinstall your wheel and lug nuts. After you have your lug nuts all on, you can lower your car down, tighten them up, and that'll be it.